Trying again. Hello, I am Dewana Monique, and this is my first Periscope live broadcast. And let me just jump right into it. If you are in here this whole time, I want to talk about being able to hear God in the midst of a bunch of noise. Can you hear me? If you're in the room, type in, let me know if you can actually hear me. I'm trying to stuff out and I'm not sure. And I can adjust. Can you hear me? Somebody let me know. Can you hear me? I see me, but can you hear me? Anybody? Yay! Okay. Hey, Davina. So, let me jump right in. Um, I'm still wet. Wait. I'm shaky. You are still. I didn't get the rest of it. Okay. Oh. Okay. Well, hopefully your connection gets fixed. Sorry, if you're new to me and you just stumbled in this room, I sing randomly. Forgive me. I'm gonna go ahead and start. If you want to chime in and say anything, please type. Go ahead with it. So, um, I've started a lot of new adventures. I'm Dewana, by the way, and um, this is my introducing Miss BJB series. Let me tell you who Miss BJB is. Miss BJB is me. BJB stands for Black Jelly Bean. And the Miss MISS is important as well because I've been misunderstood my whole life. I've thought that I was a mistake. Thank you. Lots of things to do with Miss. I haven't felt Miss, but I'm going to go deeper. I'm writing a book. Anyway, I wanted to start this discussion or kind of talk about being able to hear God amidst a bunch of noise. I am currently in a situation in my work life that really puts me at a disadvantage where I just feel like I can't hear God. I feel like I'm in the right place, but I'm not sure I hear him. And then he'll send me a song or he'll send me a verse or he'll send me, one time he sent me a wino in the Family Dollar parking lot. And it was crazy. Excuse me, I got a message. And so I want to kind of help out. My bad, y'all. I'm sorry. I want to kind of help out and share my experiences because that's what I know how to talk about. And how you too, if you going through or you not sure where to go, things that have helped me is just sitting still for a second. The world is getting crazy. Let's be real here. That's the only way I know how to be. The world is getting crazier. It's getting nuts. People are killing each other. Donald Trump is running for president. There's a lot of craziness going on, and we could spend a lot of time and eternity talking about that. But I'd rather get to what's going on with you, what's going on in your house, what's going on in your heart, what's going on, on your job, amongst your family and your friends, because what's going on with you may be going on with me. And the thing is that we are so busy running, gotta get to work, gotta clean the house, gotta do this, gotta talk to them, gotta do so much. We feel like that some of us aren't asking God what to do next. Even if it's God, do I do whites or colors laundry? We're not asking him. And so we're running on fuels and we're running out. We're running on fumes instead of fuels. And I'm gonna slow down a little bit and just kind of let God use me because this has been on my heart all day. I had a breakdown again yesterday at work, and what had happened was things were just going left so quickly on my job that I just lost all hope in myself. I lost hope in, God's calling for this time. To be clear, transparent, I work in a high school and it's not easy. These kids and my coworkers and their parents have a lot of issues, have a lot of needs. Some people need Jesus, some people got him, and you can't tell. And even me myself, I'm being developed in ways that I don't know if I want to be, but that God is calling me to be. And it makes it difficult when you're angry to hear what God has to say. It's difficult when you are being selfish. I have my own ambitions and things I want to do, and it gets in the way a lot. So I just kind of want to touch on being still. If I were to make a list, number one thing to do to really hear God when you are going through or when everything is making noise is everybody wants your attention. They need you here at this organization. They need you at the family reunion. They need you to help out with your brother. They need you to do X, Y, Z, A, B, C, 1, 2, 3. I have found that if I just sit still for a second, even close my eyes, it has gotten to a place where his still small voice, God's still small voice, is still employed, and it will pop up. It will tell you what to do, or at least calm you so that you can hear what he's been saying all along. This is supposed to be interactive, and even though there's only one person in the room, maybe more people join, but whatever. I don't care. This is for whoever come in. Type in and let me know and give me some tips. Do you feel like sitting still has helped you at all? Yeah. Do you feel like sitting still actually helps you hear God's voice, or does it make you more anxious? It definitely works for me in the beginning. If I'm actually susceptible to listen to what God has to say, is to just stop and be still, even if it's just for 10 seconds. I've come very close to getting locked up here recently, and sitting still has saved a few people's lives, as well as my freedom still being intact. So I'm curious. I don't know. This whole Periscope thing is different. It's so different. I'm going to adjust a little bit. I feel like I'm all in y'all face or your face. I feel like I'm in your face. Hold on. Or no. You can tell I work with teenagers. Okay. I don't know. Anyway, I'll keep going. So maybe sitting still doesn't work for you. Once I'm still, I tend to actually think about what it is. I'm being honest, the only time I sit still is when I'm agitated. And I probably should be consulting God before I get to that place. But by the time I get agitated, I sit still and I wait for him to just kind of show me something. Sometimes somebody pops up. Sometimes the phone will ring or it'll buzz and the right person will say or lead me somewhere. Sometimes it doesn't come right away. I tell you what has helped is War Room. I have a prayer closet, which is funny. I do a lot of praying, but I don't actually go in the closet to do it. The prayers are listed on the wall, but I don't actually go in there, which is interesting. Do you have a prayer closet? Yes? No? Maybe? I got somebody in the room. Y'all got a prayer closet? No? This is so different. It says no viewers. I guess I'm the only viewer. And it went down, Frazier. Woo! It don't matter. I'm going to keep going because somebody going to come in this room. Hold on. Somebody going to come in here. So I'm going to keep talking. Why? Because Somebody needs to know that God hears you in the midst of your mess. I find it interesting. I find it interesting that I'm even talking about somebody's mess versus, outside noise. I teach middle school and high school students, and I have found and I have learned that a lot of times the kids get caught up not so much in what somebody else says or does. I'm teaching them that it's on you to respond. You can either respond to the negativity or ignore it. So if we go back to the topic of hearing God's voice amidst noise, if you choose to ignore the negativity or the trials and tribulations around you, then you get to a place where you open yourself up to actually hear God. Because the noise is going to come. You can't stop the noise. I tell particularly middle schoolers all the time, you cannot stop somebody from saying whatever it is they're going to say. If they're going to call you stupid, if they're going to talk about your hair, if they're going to say anything, make noises, put your name in their mouth, you can't stop somebody. What you going to do? Go in their mouth and snatch their tongue out? You can't do it. And the same thing goes for us adults or teenagers or whoever may or may not watch this now or later. It's all about whether you respond. That's what it's about, and how you respond. If we get to the place as people of God or people who are trying to find God, you get to a place where you seek Him before you say something, you be way better off. I've been on both sides. I've let my mouth do a whole lot of talking before I ask God anything, and then I've shut up, bit my tongue, and then I've let God do it. Sometimes He has me do it. Sometimes He does it Himself. Sometimes the person, if it's a person that's causing the noise, will actually turn around and fix it without me saying anything. Is it always easy? No. But we as a people have got to get to the place where we don't respond to everything. Now, everything's not negative. All noise is not bad. But noise can be a lot of things. I think of a lot of different things come to mind. And if you start to watch me regularly, because I'm going to do this every Friday, Lord willing. But if you start to watch me regularly, you'll notice that I'm going to talk in analogies where you compare something that seems completely unrelated and then connect it, to the, situation. And though I'm talking about trying to hear God or hearing God amidst the noise can be a lot of things. Sometimes, that white noise, I believe the definition is where it's like not faint, but it's a consistent piercing sound that fades in the background is so high in frequency that you just can't normally hear it. It's just consistent. Now, my definition may be off, but it's similar to that. And white noise to me is the worst, because white noise is something that you can't seemingly prove. It might be behind you. It might be in front of you. You don't know where it's coming from, but it's consistent. It's constant. So my thing is when there's white noise in your life, can you hear God? That can make it real difficult. And so if you're just joining in, the first thing that you should do is what I do is sit still. You got to sit still in order to hear God. If you're in a room, say, hey, so I don't know who it is. But you got to sit still. Sitting still helps calm your mind. A lot of times when my students get out of hand, I even cut the lights off in the classroom. It doesn't necessarily stop all activity, but it gets their attention. God wants our attention. That's why there's so much noise. If you're just joining the broadcast, I mentioned earlier that the world is nuts today. It's nuts in our personal lives. It is nuts in our neighborhoods, our cities, this country, the world. It has gone bananas. There is no cute way to put it in a package. This world is crazy. Y'all do realize Donald Trump is trying to run for president. Donald Trump, he ain't even get a new toupee or anything. At the end of the day, this world is crazy. And all people, I don't care, even I'm going to go as far as saying atheists, they need to try to seek God's voice. There's a lot going on, and we need to we got to figure out what he wants us to do. Maybe you as an individual, or even in your community, at your church, even if you're not in the church, whatever. We need to figure out what he has for you to do, because let me go ahead and put it in there. If you haven't figured it out by now, I am a woman of faith. I'm a woman of God. I would not be where I am without him leading me in my life. And so at the end of the day, you have to constantly be ready for Christ's return. In order to do that and not get caught up, I lost a lot of followers on that. Excuse me. It went from 5 to 1 quick. Anyway, in order to prepare for Christ's return, you got to be where he would have you to be. I just up and moved from where I'd lived my entire life one day, but it wasn't by happenstance. I moved in God's time, and it took me sitting still. I was frustrated. There was a lot of noise going on, a lot of people talking, a lot of negativity. It was a lot of positivity. It was oh, you're so great here, you should stay. Or it was a lot going on. There's a lot of noise. But in order for me to actually hear where, what, in what time, and how, I had to get still. And I can't seem to move from this point. I watch a lot of these Periscope things, and people go, here's my 7 tips. I don't know. Maybe there's only one. Sit still and listen. Like, I'm going to go back to teaching, because right now it seems to be 70% of my world. Excuse me, in spite of the fact that teaching is driving me nuts, I'm learning a lot from this assignment. And you can't hear the instruction if your mouth is open. You can't hear it. You cannot hear what God has for you if you doing the talking. If every time you pray, God bless this, God bless that, Lord, 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 help this, help that, do this, do that, watch over, and all of that is necessary. You got to talk to God, but there's a point in prayer, in time, where you have to be quiet and hear. Listen, when I was 5 years old, I like using my hands. When I was 5 years old, I don't know why, but my grandmother tried to teach all the grandchildren how to meditate. She's just always into stuff like that. And what would happen is I was 5. And so my brother was 3, my cousin was 2, and, toddlers and all that kind of stuff running around. As we got older, I kind of gravitated to it. So my brothers and cousins and all them running around the house, laughing, joking, having a good time. And I'm sitting on a chair with my eyes closed in the midst of all this chaos and noise, quiet. Could I hear them? Yes. The noise does not go away. But I had this peace and this calmness that was taught to me early on, and I couldn't explain it. It was just something I'd always been able to do. Something I'd always been able to do because she put that seed in me. I don't know why people leaving. I'm sorry. I guess this what I say ain't really hitting home for folks. Oh well, maybe it'll be more organized. It's the beauty of a live broadcast. The beauty of it. I get no hearts. But at the end of the day, such is my life, Miss BJB. It is. I tried to explain a little earlier. Black jelly bean. Nobody likes those. And the jelly bean pack. I don't know why I expected this to be different. Let me go back to the meditation. So, she taught me how to meditate amidst noise. Every time I chose to meditate, it was weird. All my memories go back to whatever house we were in. It was super loud. I never chose to meditate when it was quiet. I guess it was just too simple. But when it was really loud and chaotic is when I sat still, breathed slowly, closed my eyes, but could still hear everything. And I think that's how our lives are. If you just take a few minutes to sit still, the storm gonna keep raging. It's gonna keep raging. Whatever your storms are, it may be more than one. They're gonna keep raging. But it's up to you, it's up to me to seek God out. He can be found. I get so caught up in my life and things feel so heavy. Sometimes I feel like I can't hear God. The last prayer I sent out, prayer request, is I felt like I couldn't hear God anymore. My brother debunked that. It's not so. You hear him fine. You got to sit still and listen. I listen to a lot of motivational tapes as well, and people, and one man in particular I've been listening to for over a year, about 2 years now. Eric Thomas, he says it, and I've learned to live by it. Is at the end of your feelings is nothing. There's nothing at the end of your feelings. You don't get nothing for feelings. Feelings have to get out of the way when it comes to God's purpose, plan for your life, your blessings, and all of that type of stuff. The feelings mean absolutely nothing. They don't mean anything. It is up to you to seek God out and listen. You can't hear him running your mouth. You can't hear him moving. Going back to my teaching, pulling from that, I have my kids have to be still before I can give instruction. If you walking around to the trash can, or you are fiddling with a notebook, it distracts me. I can't give you clear instruction when I can see you're not paying attention. So if you are being still, but you're answering a text message, or you are feeding the kids, you got to make this phone call, or I got to fold my laundry, or whatever it is, you don't have God's full attention, or he doesn't have your full attention. So hearing God amidst the noise, actually, it depends more on you, because he is ready, willing, and ready to give you whatever it is you need at that moment to prep you, prepare you, equip you, bless you, whatever it is he has for you. But you have to sit still and listen. That is primarily it. Now, the noise is distracting. That is something that when I would meditate, it definitely could be. Sometimes the noise sounded fun. It sounded real cool to run around and laugh and joke and play tag and stuff like that. But at that moment, it's not the moment for me to run. It was my time to be still. And so it begs me to say, or ask, if anybody in the room wants to, is God calling you to be still in your life today? Somewhere. Maybe not in your full-fledged life. Maybe just at work. I know he is in my job. I got to be still. I've always found myself trying to rescue and save it, and that's not my job. It's robbing me of my peace. There's so much noise. There's so much going on. I got a lot of white noise where I am. I have a lot of white noise. Everything in my life is not crystal clear. You don't know me yet. Or you might. I don't know. If you watch this replay or what have you. At the end of the day, I got messages coming in. At the end of the day, it is completely up to you to actually get to a place where you can be still. You got to shut people off. And the thing that's interesting is just because you trying to be still does not mean that the enemy or just a person is not going to actually try to ask questions. Yeah. Let me tell you something. I'm over here trying to do this thing, looking at me, looking at the camera. I'm distracted and there is no noise in here. My students can't sit through 2 sentences without walking up to me and asking me another question while I'm talking, while giving instruction. We have short attention spans. We don't follow through. And the noise is inviting sometimes. It's not always hectic. It's not always chaotic. Sometimes that noise sounds fun. Sometimes that noise sounds lit. It sounds turned up and you want to be a part of it. The turn up can be cool when it's time, but if you're trying to hear God, sometimes he ain't in the turn up. Sometimes you got to say no. Sometimes you literally have to sit still. You have to sit still and wait. Now, what I like about it is that he don't take all day to say what he needs to say, to lead you wherever you need to be led. When it was placed on my heart to move from where I was to where I am now, That whole process took a month. It took a month. It didn't take very long at all. And I uprooted, moved from one state to the other. We didn't plan it, which is outside of my character. We didn't plan it. It was just time. It was a little difficult, but he laid it all out. Residence, job, all of it. Laid it out. Put the right people in place. But it took me listening, and when you are in tune with him, you don't always have to literally stop your whole life to hear. It's kind of like when you learn how to meditate. You can meditate all day long once you get the method down. So, hearing God amidst the noise. The noise is not going anywhere. It's not going anywhere. It's going to entice you, distract you, disturb you, a whole lot of different things. But it's completely up to you to actually listen to what God has to say. I see people coming in. Are people shy? I don't know why the thing ain't telling me who here, who leaving. Everybody else get to see. I don't get to see nothing. That's okay. It must be people outside of Periscope. Hello, whoever you are. I'm glad you came for a few seconds or 2, 3, whatever. I'm getting text messages, but I can't check those while doing the live broadcast. I'm sorry, I have to get you back later. I know I didn't need to put that in here. Live is different. I've done live radio broadcasts and stuff like that, but this is definitely different. I'm gonna go ahead and what time is it? Oh, it's only 8:17. I don't know. I wish somebody was already a part of Periscope so you could actually say something to me so we could interact. But maybe if you coming in, you can join in. If you watch this replay later, you can join in and, watch it. Follow me, not follow me. And I don't know. I don't do stuff like this for the followers. Hence my name is BJB. I'm telling you, there's not a big black jelly bean following in this country. So, such is my life. Anyway, back to the topic. I'm repeating myself because I don't know who's coming in and coming out. So at the end of the day, be still and listen. Stop moving. Let me talk to you about Miss BJB until I get inspired to say something else. Again, I am Delwana. Hello. I don't always look like this, but this is just one of them days. So excuse my appearance. I discovered that when I was a teenager, I always felt like I was just never heard. Period. I would literally say something, answer to a question. If somebody said, well, how many eggs go in this cake? And I could literally, I know, it's 2. And it could be 3 minutes later, somebody else would say, 2 eggs go in this cake. And I'm like, really? I didn't know that. The person that I told, literally, that would happen to me often, everywhere. Church, school, home, family, friends, all over the place. And I just always felt like I faded into the background. And I got to the place as I got older, felt like I was constantly needing to explain myself, constantly needing to make sure I was perfect in presentation so nobody ever had a question. I was always covered so that Dewana knows it all. I didn't try to be a know-it-all. I just was constantly overlooked so much. And I don't think people did it on purpose. It's just my life journey, possibly. It affected me. It affected me a lot. And so by the time I got to high school, there's this cool girl that wrote this awesome poetry in my homeroom class. And I don't know where it came from, but all of a sudden, she had a name. I can't remember hers, but Miss BJB, it was just between she and we didn't share it with anybody, but I decided to go public with it this year because I am taking my identity back. I have sat still and listened and heard God. I've sought him out as I try to heal from a lot of different things that have happened to me in my 32 years. And the one thing that I need to do is not be hidden anymore. You may not personally care about me, or you may, I don't know. But I will say this. I will say that it is important to take hold of your identity. It is important to not so much accept your flaws, but be self-aware. And I've decided this is not the first step, but one of the first steps I'm taking to stake my claim into who God would have me to be. So I don't want this to just be about me. Let me turn the tables back on you. One of the reasons this Periscope broadcast is taking place is because I want anybody that watches this to actually stop and take a second to find out who God wants you to be. Now, it's about what God wants you to be. It's not really about what you want. If you keep trying to do what you want to do, you keep trying to do what you want to do, you gonna find out real soon. It's gonna be difficult, and you might even be successful at your own ambitions. But a lot of times, if you really look at your life, it was God's plan all along. If you do it the right way, if you actually consult God ahead of time, you avoid a lot of mistakes, a whole lot of mistakes. And what you have to do is, as I've stated before, if you just now joining, this is all about hearing God amidst noise. You have to sit still to actually hear what he has to say. And you got to listen. Sitting still means you don't move. You can't hear God while you're washing dishes. I'm sorry. You can't hear God in the middle of a Bible study because people talking. You can't hear that. You have to get by yourself, you and him, your own mountainside, and get still. And then after you initiate conversation, let him do the talking. That's the only way to hear it. And here's the thing. If you can't get to your mountainside and that noise follows you, then you have to do what I learned when I was 5 years old. You got to learn how to meditate. You got to block the noise out. It's going to be there. It's going to be everywhere. It's going to be everywhere. But you have to block the noise out. And the only way to do it is the way I've learned in teaching teenagers and preteens. Is it doesn't matter if the noise taps you on the shoulder, don't touch it back. If the noise gets up in your face, you back up and stay focused. If the noise gets louder, you get quieter and really focus, like dig in and focus. At the end of the day, the whole purpose of me coming on Periscope is not to get followers, because I think this is some version of Twitter as a video type thing. I think it's cool because this is real live time. And I just want to share what God has put on my heart, is that it's time to find out what he wants you to do. What he wants you to do, not what you want. I'm telling you, I done learned. I have a business that has been revamped 5-6 times in the past 10 years. I've had a business for 10 years. 10. I still work for somebody else. Because when I started out sort of with what he wanted me to do. And then in the midst of it, I started chasing money. Didn't work out. So I revamped. Didn't work out. And then I stopped and I looked at my life and I said, okay, well, God, you gave me this. What do you want me to do with it? So after you sit still and you listen, and you got to stay plugged in to what he would have you do. Yeah, I'm talking about a business right now, and I'm talking about my job, but that could be something as simple as dealing with your parents. I don't know. Everybody's situations are different. Even in my own life, my stuff is flipped from here to there and everywhere. And at the same time, the steps, or whatever you want to call them, remain true. Excuse me. This is, sorry. They remain true. I don't know. I feel like I'm repeating myself, and I'm going to go ahead and close it out because what's the point of being redundant? But I'm going to say this. Noise comes in many forms. Yep. It's not going away. You can't control it. The only thing you control is your response. That's it. I encourage you today. I charge you today that whatever is noisy in your life, that you take a second, a minute, a day, a week, a month, I don't know, and Sit still. Sit still. Stop moving. Don't talk. Listen to what God has to say. And then stay plugged in. I'm gonna, it's 8:26. I've been on here for about 20 plus minutes. I think that's long enough. You may or may not come back. I'll be here next Friday. I don't know what the topic is going to be yet, but I tell you what, you'll learn a little more about Miss BJB, a little more about my book that's coming out in a few months. Yeah, it's going to be something. But right now, if you replay or whatever this, I encourage you today, in the midst of this crazy world or your crazy world, shut it down with silence and really listening. It's also funny. You don't always have to quote unquote pray to hear God. No, you don't always have to hear him. My arm getting numb. Sorry. You don't always have to pray to hear God. I said it like right at the beginning of this video. He sent a wino to me once in the parking lot of Family Dollar. Made it so plain. Sometimes the very kids that drive me crazy, God gives them a word and they just out of nowhere start talking to me. He knows what you need. Bottom line, you just gotta listen. I'm not super deep, not no more. I tried that. That ain't. No, I'm a lot simpler. He'll meet you where you are. He did that for the Samaritan woman. She didn't go to church when she talked to him. She went to go get some water at the well. He was right there waiting on her. Made it real simple. So for those of you, it's like, what do I do? You ain't got to do nothing. Make sure your heart is open and you're listening. So you can't tell God is showing up through the cashier if you're not looking for the answer. If you're not listening for it. You'll know it. Oh, you'll know it. You will know it when you hear it. That song lyric, you've been listening to that song for 22 years, and then all of a sudden that song lyric pop up and you go, oh my God, I need that right now. He know what he doing. Commercials, whatever. He'll meet you right where you at. People randomly talk to me in grocery store lines. I be looking like, okay. But then they say something that I need. That is how awesome God is. And I might lose another person in the room from this, but I stand firm on that. I am here today as Miss BJB in the flesh, letting you know that if you seek God, he will show up. He will not leave you stranded. He better than AAA. In the midst of the noise, if you get, I can go on and on and on. Hear me, don't hear me. Seek him and you'll find him. But seek him first, though. You'll avoid a lot of stuff. The noise won't bother you as much if you seek him first. That's all you gotta do. Well, excuse me. I imagine that whoever has come in the room or left, or maybe I didn't do something right. I don't know. I sure hope you were able to hear me. Second, I'm going to find me something to put this on so that it's not shaky. Third, I don't know. I just go with what God give me. It reminds me of my college days. I'm just going to be obedient because I'm around here sitting still and seeking God. Because at first I was going to be all extra planning. And he said, no, that's not what this is. This ain't my YouTube channel. This ain't that. This is use your life or aspects of your life to deliver a word. And the word is simple. You can call me preachy, whatever. The word is simple. The word is listen for God in everything so that you can know what you need to do, who you need to be, where you need to go, etc. I don't care how crazy, noisy this world gets. He's not done talking. He's not done talking. I know. I'm living it. Even today. So I'm going to go ahead and close this out. If you came in the room, bless you. If you came and left and need to come back, communication, technical, I don't know, issues. This is all new to me. But love you much, Periscope TV world. This is Miss BJB taking back her mistaken identity. Have a blessed week. I'll see you next Friday. I'll see you next Friday. Okay, you didn't ask all that. I'm out. Bye.